My dear friends, I want you to imagine this. It's a quiet night, you're sound asleep, when suddenly a sharp pain jolts you awake. Your calf tightens, as if someone were twisting a rope inside your leg. You sit up, grab your leg, try to stretch, try to massage, but the pain clings on, relentless, until you're left sweating in the dark. Have you ever felt that way before? I've met hundreds of patients who told me that same story. They all believed it was just a sign of getting old, that leg cramps after 60 were something inevitable. But I always smile and tell them, no, it's not age, it's your body sending a message. It's thirsty for magnesium. Magnesium is a quiet but powerful mineral. It's like a conductor in an orchestra, helping your muscles contract and relax in harmony, keeping your heartbeat steady and your sleep deep. When your body runs low on magnesium, your muscles forget how to relax. They stiffen, twist, and eventually scream for help in the form of those painful nighttime cramps. I remember one of my patients, Linda, age 64. She came to me with tired eyes and said, "Doctor, every night my calves cramp. I barely sleep anymore." She had tried everything, massages, heat pads, painkillers, but nothing worked. After running some tests, we found her magnesium levels were below normal. So I gave her a simple plan. Each day, eat a handful of almonds, a few slices of avocado, some steamed spinach, and before bed, drink a warm glass of water with a bit of magnesium citrate. 2 weeks later, she returned, smiling brighter than ever. "Doctor," she said, "I slept through the night. The first night without cramps." I cried from happiness. You see, sometimes the body doesn't ask for anything grand. It just asks to be heard. Magnesium doesn't only ease your legs, it also helps your heart beat gently, your sleep run deeper, and your mind find calm. Science has shown that people who get enough magnesium every day have lower risks of heart disease, high blood pressure, and chronic anxiety. So if you're in your 50s, 60s, or 70s, don't let those little cramps steal your sleep or your joy. Start with something simple, a handful of nuts, a bowl of greens, or a properly dosed magnesium supplement. Your legs will thank you, and each morning you'll wake up feeling as if your body has been oiled back to life after many long years. Because sometimes healing doesn't come from a hospital or a pill. It comes from the quiet choices you make every single day. My dear friends, I want you to imagine this. It's a quiet morning. The sun is rising, painting everything in soft gold. But instead of stepping outside to feel that warmth, you close the blinds, turn on the lights, and start your day indoors. Day after day, week after week, the sunlight never truly touches your skin. You might think, "It's fine, doctor. I go outside sometimes." But here's the truth I've learned over 35 years of caring for people after 50. Most of us are quietly running low on one of the most powerful sources of strength and balance our bodies have: vitamin D. After the age of 50, our skin becomes less efficient at producing vitamin D from sunlight. And when that happens, your body starts whispering little warnings. Your legs feel heavier, your balance isn't as steady, and sometimes just standing up feels harder than it used to. You might not realize it, but that quiet lack of sunlight can slowly drain the power from your muscles. I remember a patient named Robert, 70 years old. He told me, "Doctor, I'm not sick, but I just don't feel strong anymore. My legs tremble when I climb stairs." We checked his vitamin D levels. They were far below normal. I didn't give him any miracle pill. I simply said, "Robert, I want you to spend 15 minutes in the morning sunlight each day. Let the sun touch your face, your arms, your legs, and add a little salmon or boiled egg to your lunch." 3 months later, he returned with a bright grin and said, "Doctor, I didn't realize sunlight could make me feel young again." You see, vitamin D isn't just about bones, it's about vitality. It helps your muscles stay coordinated, strengthens the fast twitch fibers that protect you from falling, and even keeps your mood brighter. Science has shown that people with low vitamin D are more likely to feel fatigue, depression, and muscle weakness. But here's the beautiful part. It doesn't take much to change that. 15 minutes of morning light, A few servings of salmon, eggs, or fortified milk each week. That's all your body needs to remember how to move with confidence again. So I want to ask you, when was the last time you let the morning sun truly touch your skin? Step outside tomorrow. Close your eyes. Let that golden light remind your body that it's still alive, still strong, still capable of renewal, no matter your age. Because sometimes healing doesn't come from a bottle. It comes from something as simple, as ancient, and as life-giving as sunlight. My dear friends, I want you to imagine this for a moment. You're sitting quietly in your chair, reading or watching TV, when suddenly your leg begins to tremble, just a small shake at first, then stronger. You stretch it out, but it won't stop. Or maybe while walking up the stairs, your calves start to feel weak, as if they have lost their power. You pause and think, maybe I'm just tired. Maybe it's age. But sometimes it's not fatigue. It's your body whispering again, telling you that it's missing something essential: potassium. I've seen this story so many times in my clinic. Potassium is one of those quiet heroes inside your body. You don't feel it working, but it's there, keeping your muscles hydrated, your nerves sharp, and your heartbeat steady. It's the invisible bridge between the messages your brain sends and how your body responds. When potassium levels drop, that bridge starts to crack. Your muscles stiffen. You feel spasms in your legs, weakness in your grip, or trembling when you stand. Some patients even tell me their heart feels jumpy or irregular, and often potassium is part of that story. I remember one man, Mr. George, 67 years old. He came to me saying, "Doctor, I feel like my legs forgot how to stand strong. Every evening they shake, even when I'm just sitting." We ran some simple tests, and sure enough, his potassium was too low. I told him, "George, your body is like a battery. Right now, it's running low on charge, so instead of prescribing pills right away, I gave him a plan: a baked sweet potato at lunch, half an avocado with breakfast, and a handful of beans or lentils a few times a week." 3 weeks later, he walked into my office smiling. "Doctor," he said, "I've stopped shaking. I even danced with my wife last night." That's the beauty of potassium. It's not a miracle drug, but when your body finally gets what it needs, it feels like one. Science backs this up too. Low potassium is one of the top hidden causes of nighttime cramps and muscle weakness after 50. So my friends, the next time your legs feel shaky or your energy fades, don't just blame age. Ask yourself, have I given my body enough of what it truly needs? Bananas are wonderful, yes, but don't forget the sweet potatoes, avocados, spinach, and beans. These foods carry the quiet power that keeps your muscles steady and your nerves calm. Because in the end, good health isn't about doing something dramatic. It's about these small, mindful choices. The gentle act of feeding your body what it's been asking for all along. And when you do, you'll find your strength returning, not just to your legs, but to your entire spirit. My dear friends, I want you to picture this moment. It's late in the evening and your house is quiet. You sit down, ready to relax, maybe to read or simply enjoy the calm. But then a strange heaviness creeps into your legs. Your feet feel cold, your calves feel tight, almost like the blood inside them has slowed to a trickle. You rub them, hoping the feeling goes away. But what your body is really trying to tell you is simple: please keep me moving. After the age of 50, our circulation, the beautiful invisible river that carries oxygen and nutrients through every part of our body, starts to flow more slowly. It's not that the heart stops working, but the muscles that help pump blood, especially in the legs, begin to lose strength if we sit too long or move too little. I remember a lovely patient named Mary, 71 years old. She came to me and said, "Doctor, my legs feel heavy, and sometimes they swell by the evening. I used to walk a lot, but now I just don't have the motivation." I told her gently, "Mary, your body is like a river. If the water doesn't move, it becomes cloudy and still. But if you let it flow, it stays clear and full of life." So we began slowly. 10 minutes of walking every morning, then 15, then 20. She also started doing gentle ankle rotations while watching TV, just to keep the blood flowing. 3 months later, she came back glowing. "Doctor," she said, "my legs feel lighter, and somehow my mind does too." That's the power of circulation. When your blood moves freely, it doesn't just nourish your muscles. It feeds your brain, your heart, and your mood. Modern science confirms this. Even a short daily walk can lower the risk of heart disease, sharpen memory, and improve sleep quality. So let me ask you, when was the last time you truly walked? Not just from the couch to the kitchen, but out in the open, breathing fresh air, feeling your heart beat gently inside your chest. If it's been a while, tomorrow morning is the perfect time to begin. You don't need to run or push yourself. Just move like you're saying thank you to your body for all the years it's carried you. Because movement isn't just exercise, it's poetry. It's your way of reminding life that you're still here, still strong, still flowing, just like that quiet, beautiful river within you. My dear friends, let me tell you something that surprises many of my patients. Your heart listens to your thoughts. Yes, truly. Every worry, every burst of anger, every quiet sadness leaves a tiny echo inside your chest. Over time, those echoes build up, not in your mind, but in your heartbeat, your breathing, even your blood pressure. You might not notice it at first. Maybe you just feel tired more often. Maybe your shoulders tighten or sleep doesn't come as easily as before. You tell yourself, it's just age. But I've learned after 35 years of medicine that stress ages the heart faster than time ever could. I once had a patient named Helen, 66 years old. She came to see me not because she was sick, but because she said, "Doctor, I feel like I've forgotten how to be calm." She took care of her grandchildren, cooked for her family, watched the news every night, and carried the world on her shoulders. Her blood pressure was high, her pulse restless. I asked her, "Helen, when was the last time you did something just for yourself?" She smiled sadly. "I don't remember." So I gave her a prescription, not of pills, but of peace. 10 minutes of slow breathing each morning. 5 minutes of gratitude journaling before bed. A walk in the garden, no phone, no noise, just birds and sunlight. A month later, she came back with a different glow. "Doctor," she said, "the world hasn't changed, but I feel lighter." I laugh again. That's the magic of managing stress. It doesn't erase your problems, but it gives your body room to heal, your heart space to rest. Science now confirms what wisdom has always known. Chronic stress weakens the immune system, raises inflammation, and shortens lifespan. But calm, even 10 minutes of true calm, can reverse all that. So I want to ask you, when was the last time you truly breathed? Not the shallow breath of rushing through the day, but a deep, full breath that reminds your body it's safe. Try it now. Inhale slowly, hold, and let it go. Feel how your shoulders soften, how your chest opens, how your mind quiets down. Because peace isn't a luxury of the young, it's the medicine of the wise. And at this stage of life, you've earned the right to live gently, to breathe fully, to let go of what you can't control, and to embrace what you can. Your peace, your presence, your heartbeat. My dear friends, there's a quiet truth I've learned after decades of treating patients over 50. Healing doesn't begin in the pharmacy, it begins in the kitchen. You see, every time you sit down for a meal, you're not just feeding your stomach. You're either fueling your future or feeding your fatigue. And what's most remarkable is this. The food that heals us is rarely fancy, rarely expensive. It's simple, colorful, and close to nature. I remember Mr. James, a 70-year-old retired teacher who came to me feeling constantly tired. He said, "Doctor, I eat 3 meals a day, but I wake up already exhausted." When I asked what he ate, his answer was familiar. White bread, processed meats, sugary coffee in the morning, fast food for lunch, a heavy dinner in front of the TV. I looked at him kindly and said, "James, your body is like a garden. You've been watering it with soda, and now the flowers are fading." So we made a simple change. Whole grains instead of white bread, salmon or beans instead of sausage, a handful of leafy greens at every meal, and one fruit in the afternoon instead of cookies. 6 weeks later, he walked into my office with a smile and said, Doctor, I feel like my body finally woke up. That's the quiet power of food. It rebuilds you from the inside out. Science shows that after the age of 50, our cells repair more slowly, our metabolism shifts, and inflammation becomes easier to trigger. But when you eat foods rich in antioxidants, spinach, berries, avocados, olive oil, it's like sending tiny repairmen through your body every day. So let me ask you, what story are you writing with your plate today? Because each bite is a sentence. Some tell a story of healing, others of harm. And no, you don't need to become a nutritionist or chase every new diet trend. You just need to return to what your grandparents knew. Eat food that still remembers the earth it came from. When you fill your plate with life, with colors, textures, and freshness, you're not just feeding your body, you're nourishing your spirit. So tonight, maybe skip the drive-through, steam some vegetables, drizzle olive oil, and sit down without rushing. Taste it slowly. Feel your body thanking you. Because health at its heart isn't about perfection. It's about small acts of care repeated every day, one mindful meal at a time. My dear friends, there's something many people forget after the age of 60. Your mind needs exercise just as much as your body does. You see, our muscles weaken when we don't move them, but the same thing happens to our brain when we stop using it, when we stop learning, exploring, and challenging ourselves. Memory loss doesn't always begin in the brain. Sometimes it begins in the routine. I remember a patient named Charles, 72 years old, a quiet man who once loved fixing old radios. When he retired, he stopped tinkering, stopped reading, stopped learning new things. After a few years, he told me, "Doctor, my memory isn't what it used to be. I forget names, dates, even the reason I walked into a room." I smiled and said, "Charles, your brain is like those radios you used to repair. It still works beautifully. It just needs a little tuning." So I gave him a challenge. Learn one new thing every month. It didn't matter what. A new recipe, a few words in Spanish, or even a simple puzzle. 3 months later, he came back laughing. "Doctor," he said, "I started teaching myself the harmonica. My wife says I sound like a train whistle, but I've never felt more alive." And you know what? His memory tests improved. Because when you learn, you light up new parts of your brain. You grow new connections, like tiny bridges forming between islands. Science calls this neuroplasticity. I call it proof that age can't cage the mind. So I want to ask you, when was the last time you learned something new? It doesn't have to be complicated. Read a new book, try a new recipe, play a song you've never heard before. Even laughter and conversation are workouts for the brain. One of my favorite sayings is, "A day you learn nothing is a day your brain forgets how young it can be." So keep your mind moving just as you do your body. Challenge it, surprise it, play with it. Because staying young isn't about the color of your hair. It's about the curiosity in your heart. And if you nurture that curiosity, your memory, your creativity, and your joy will all stay alive, glowing quietly, like a lantern that never runs out of light. My dear friends, if there is one thing I've learned after 35 years of caring for people over 50, it's this. Happiness is not found in perfect health. It's found in meaningful connection. You see, medicine can heal the body, but only love and companionship can heal the heart. And yet, many of my patients tell me the same thing. "Doctor, my house is quiet. My children are busy. My phone doesn't ring much anymore." Have you ever felt that kind of silence? It's not the peaceful kind. It's the heavy kind, the one that echoes inside your chest. I remember Mrs. Eleanor, 74 years old. She once told me, "Doctor, I take all my pills, I eat well, but I still feel sick. Sick from being alone." I'll never forget that. So we talked about something simple, joining a community garden near her neighborhood. At first she laughed and said, "Doctor, I can't even keep a cactus alive." But she went anyway. Weeks later, she returned with soil on her hands and a sparkle in her eyes. "Doctor," she said, "I made friends. We water the plants together every morning. It's funny. My flowers aren't the only things growing." That, my friends, is the medicine of connection. When you share a meal, a walk, or even a smile, your brain releases oxytocin, the bonding hormone. It lowers blood pressure, strengthens your heart, and even improves your immune system. Science proves it, but your heart has known it all along. So call that old friend you haven't spoken to in years. Sit outside with your neighbor and watch the sunset. Hold someone's hand, not because they need it, but because you do. Life after 60 is not meant to be lived in isolation. It's meant to be shared through laughter, conversation, and warmth. And if you ever wonder what the true secret to longevity is, let me tell you this. It's not hidden in a pill or a supplement. It's in the sound of another person saying, "It's good to see you again." Because at the end of the day, no matter how many vitamins you take or how cleanly you eat, a joyful heart will always be the strongest medicine. My dear friends, if the last part we talked about was the power of connection, then what I want to share with you now is something even quieter, something that happens when the lights are off and the world outside finally slows down. I'm talking about sleep, that gentle, mysterious medicine that too many people underestimate. You see, I've met countless patients over 60 who tell me the same thing: "A doctor, I can't sleep like I used to. I wake up at 2 or 3 a.m. and then my mind starts racing." And I always smile gently and say, maybe your body isn't broken, it's just asking you to listen. Sleep is not a luxury, it's how your body repairs, recharges, and restores your soul. During deep sleep, your brain clears toxins, your heart slows down, and your cells rebuild. It's as if your body whispers, "Thank you for giving me time to heal." Let me tell you about one of my patients, Mrs. Clara, 67 years old. She came to me complaining that no matter what she did, reading, taking warm showers, even herbal tea, she couldn't sleep more than 4 hours. She said, "Doctor, I think I'm just too old to sleep well." But I didn't agree. We didn't start with pills. We started with peace. I asked her to dim her lights an hour before bed, turn off her phone, and listen to soft piano music while breathing slowly. The first few nights it didn't change much, but by the end of the second week, she came back smiling. "Doctor," she said, "I finally slept through the night. And you know what's strange? I feel younger." I told her it wasn't strange at all, because good sleep is youth. It's your body's way of pressing the reset button. Many people spend money on vitamins and treatments, but forget that the greatest healing happens when you're not even awake. So tonight, when you go to bed, I want you to see it differently. Don't see sleep as something you have to do. See it as a gift, a conversation between your body and your spirit. Let the world go. Let tomorrow wait. Because sometimes the best thing you can do for your health is not to do more, but simply to rest better. And when you wake up, rested, calm, and clear, you'll realize that sleep isn't the end of the day. It's the beginning of another chance to live well, laugh deeply, and love fully. My dear friends, we've talked about food, movement, vitamins, and even sleep. But there's one thing I've learned after decades of working with people over 50. Your emotions can shape your health more than any medicine ever could. You see, the heart isn't just a pump, it's also a storyteller. Every worry, every joy, every moment of gratitude leaves its mark, and the body listens. I once had a patient named George, 70 years old, a retired engineer, disciplined and logical. But after his wife passed away, he began to lose weight, sleep poorly, and complain of chest tightness. We ran all the tests. His heart was fine. His blood pressure was perfect. But I looked at him and said softly, "George, your body is grieving. Not your heart muscle, but your heart memory." He looked at me with tears and said, "Doctor, I didn't know sadness could make you sick." And I told him, "Oh, but it can." And healing begins when we allow ourselves to feel, not just function. Modern medicine now confirms what ancient wisdom always knew. Chronic stress, anger, and loneliness increase inflammation, weaken immunity, and age your cells faster. But kindness, laughter, and gratitude, they literally change your biochemistry. They raise serotonin, balance cortisol, and protect your heart. I often tell my patients, you don't need a perfect life to be healthy. You just need a peaceful one. Think about it. When was the last time you truly forgave someone or thanked your own body for carrying you this far? Sometimes healing doesn't come from another pill or a new diet, but from a deep breath, a gentle smile, or a single word, thank you. I remember another patient, Maria, 66 years old, who battled high blood pressure for years. She told me, "Doctor, I take all the right pills, but it never goes down." Then one day she started writing a gratitude journal, just 5 minutes each morning, listing 3 small things she was thankful for. A month later, her blood pressure was lower, her sleep better, and her smile brighter. Was it magic? Number. It was chemistry, the chemistry of peace. So my dear friends, take care of your emotions as you do your diet. Speak gently to yourself. Let go of resentment, not for others, but for your own heart. And remember this, the body heals faster when the soul feels safe. At 60, 70, or 80, joy is not a luxury, it's medicine. And the more you give it space to grow, the more your heart and your life will open again.